Hello and welcome to the first CA PPM webcast of 2018. Today we'll take a look at the new task boards in CA PPM. Michelle Templeton will show us how to set up task lists and manage work with drag and drop ease. Then our education team steps in and they will take us through the latest services offerings. But before we begin, if you have any questions during the presentations, please type them into the Q&A window down in the right-hand corner, and we will address them after each section. And with that, I hand it over to you, Michelle.
All right, thank you, Al, and thank you everyone for joining. We're going to talk today about a new feature in CA PPM. So I'm about to share my screen. So welcome to CA PPM 15.3 Teamwork on Task Boards. My name is Michelle Templeton. I joined CA as a PPM Senior Principal Consultant about 5 years ago. And prior to that, I was actually a CA PPM customer and community member like you, participating in customer feedback sessions and learning about new features as we are about to do today. So for today, we're going to talk about CA PPM 15.3, specifically task boards. So we'll be highlighting this new feature. Task boards are just one of the many new features we introduced in 15.3, all really designed to make CA PPM a powerful, configurable, and social enterprise PPM solution. We'll talk about the benefits of team-based task management and then jump in to show some examples of how to use our task boards. Finally, we'll have a few minutes at the end for Q&A. So just to kind of give a little background, CA PPM 15.3 is a continuation of a journey that we embarked on about 2 years ago. We went and evaluated how organizations were using their project and portfolio management solutions, with the goal being to identify the ways we could better serve every user, whether it's a project manager, a resource manager, financial manager, to executive decision makers and team members. When it comes to customer feedback, we continue this journey and we ask our customers, how do you manage your work? And what you see there is mainly our findings that our studies showed that most organizations fell into either a traditional, collaborative, agile, or hybrid approach, sometimes all of the above. When it comes to collaboration, when we asked how teams collaborate, we found that there were many chat tools and many collaboration apps used outside of the project work being done. For team-based task management, we found here that users actually avoided using the tools altogether or worked outside them to do their job. For the most part, no surprise here, many people did their work using spreadsheets. When it comes to visibility, we also found that many organizations were exporting data into third-party tools like Excel or PowerPoint to manually create reports like status reports. So we'll talk about team-based task management for a second. As part of our collaborative user experience, we wanted to make sure that we could provide ways for team members to visualize and collaborate on their work. So as you know, regarding task management, one overlooked task can set a project back by days or weeks. Missing a deliverable can increase costs, delay delivery, negatively impact other work, and also, as we know, keeping track of tasks which have been assigned, completed, which ones have been accepted, what's the status, can be pretty tedious, especially for organizations executing in a non-agile way or non-agile projects, or even those hybrid projects that combine agile and traditional methods. Users needed a clear, easy-to-use task management tools that support team engagement and more modern social ways of working. So we're going to jump in and take a look at some examples of project task boards in action. Okay, so we're looking at CA PPM 15.3, and this is, the project list. And some of you may have seen this. This was introduced early with 15.1. And we continue to expand on this. So what we're seeing here is a list of project tiles. And you may notice that each of these tiles have different icons and essentially different metrics available. That's actually another capability that we introduced in 15.3 called blueprinting. But what we can also do while we're looking at these tiles is with one click, I can get to things like the tasks, the conversations, the documents for a given project. So if we want to jump in and take a look at this team board, we can simply click that task link and get right into the team board with one click. So now we're looking at an example of a task board. As you can see, you can use the task board to visualize your work, group it, in this case, across the life cycle. We can see the tasks that a team is responsible for, organized by what's planned for this week, what's in progress, what's in the backlog. This is completely configurable, so you can actually rename these columns. So by going here and just saying rename, if I want to call this something else like planned work, I can do that. So this is how we can actually create our own columns. And then we can also, drag and drop, as I've mentioned earlier. We can drag things. So I can move, if I'm ready to work on this task for e-commerce portal, I just drag it to the planned work, and now our team knows that we're planning on working on this. I can also enter a new task. Really, really simple. Simply big blue box here, clicking on new task, it's done. I can pick the date that it's going to be due, right? So I could say we need to do this new task by the 25th, and that new task is created. Notice that when I did that, this incoming column actually became available. So this is new incoming work, and I can leave it there, or when I'm ready to, I can actually move it to the backlog and actually assign an owner, assign a color. So by editing this, I can actually give it an owner. So if I want to give this to myself, I can simply start typing in my name. And then the color, a lot of organizations are using this to represent different things. We can talk about that in terms of who's doing the work, what the life cycle is, what type of work it is. We can assign a color and say, okay, I want this one to be blue, and we're done with that. And now this task is in our backlog. We've assigned a finish date, we've assigned an owner, and we've changed the color. As far as existing task cards are concerned, again, for this e-commerce portal that we decide to work on, we're planning on working on this, we can actually do things like conversations and to-dos. You can see them here, but this is really cool about the task cards is that you can actually start and work through a conversation in the task cards themselves. So we introduced conversations with 15.1, and we're expanding that to include task-based conversations. So here, you'll notice that by clicking on this bubble, we see that Dana actually sent a note to the whole team. So you can do the @mentions. Everyone on the project would actually get a notification of this conversation up here in their notification bell, which also sends you an email. So she can send a note to her team members, and notice that she can also include a document. You can include documents and links in these task conversations. What I also can do in this task board is to switch from a different view. So this is a new view, right, for 15.3, but we haven't lost what we've had before. So here where I'm hovering over the views, right, we're on the board view right now. I can switch to the list view, which is, in this project, it's essentially a running list of tasks. And I can also go to the PPM interactive Gantt and also get to my Microsoft project or Open Workbench bi-directional integration. I can also filter the tasks here. So where we see here, this is actually where the filter lives. So all tasks, but I can also check for, say, milestones. So if you wanted to just see the milestones, what are we planning to do and when is it supposed to be done from a milestone perspective, now I'm just looking at the milestones. So we have, a couple things defined for February, some for December, but this is actually filtering my list. So now everyone on the team is aware of where the given tasks are in terms of progress, ownership, and due dates. Let's take a look at another example of how to use task boards. In this particular project, our tasks are organized differently. They're organized by a process, so gates. Many organizations have a defined process where the activities of a project, they have to pass through certain gates. I'm going to expose all tasks here before they can actually progress to the next phase. So these are all the tasks organized by gates. This is really neat because you can see what's going on at the gate level and who owns what. You can do those conversations. But notice when I hover over this risk response task, even any of these, I'm getting that information. What phase are we in here? This is the planning phase. So I can see the risk response task is in the planning phase. If I take a look at what's going on with this particular task, I get some information about the task itself. I also can, look at the conversation. So in this case, Dana's telling Ed to go ahead and check the project risk management plan, which is a document that's stored in our document repository at the project level. So simply doing, an @mention again, she can, elaborate on that, request, to add or, send a different note to someone else, and they would get the notification in their notification bell. Another example of how to use task boards, so as you can see, it's pretty flexible. Really project to project, you can decide how to use these. So looking at just a simple trade show type of project where you're planning a trade show, right? So PPM, you can use it not just for IT, right? We want to talk about using it for any kind of work, business, marketing. In this case, we're planning a trade show. So we have actually organized these these tasks by department. So who's responsible to, arrange the hotel and travel and transportation? Who's doing the promotional giveaways? This way everyone sees what's going on and what really do and what's coming up next. So as, of course, you get things done, you can move it to the complete column. So completely configurable, but yet designed to expose all the work that's going on. So what does this mean? So when we actually allow folks to say, this is complete, for example, you can check this off as complete. What this means is that we can actually leverage our living status report. So we introduced the living status report a couple of releases ago, but what's really cool is as you're looking in this task board and collaborating with everyone, the living status report is self-building. So we click on the status, and now we can see what's been completed. So I just checked off the technology check, and it's actually writing to this status report, so it's self-building. I can see the update from our project manager. I can also see what's coming in the next 2 weeks. So really just trying to drive that visualization for the team. Everyone is aware of where we are as far as the status, what's coming up, and what's been completed. So I can share these plans with other groups and executives by publishing this status report. We could take a look at what that might look like simply by previewing it. We can see it's going to pull all the real-time information. So, like we talked about people compiling data, sending information out of their project management application into something like a PowerPoint. It's pretty labor-intensive, and it's not real-time, right? So this is real-time. This is what's going on. We're noticing what's been completed, and we can publish this to a PDF and send this out, email it to an executive or a stakeholder. So really that covers our CA PPM Task Board 15.3 feature. We're pretty excited about this new capability to collaborate and organize work and provide that visibility to the team members and the stakeholders. So we have a few minutes for Q&A before I turn it over to our next topic for CA Learning. So let me know if we have any questions in the chat, Alex.
Sure. Thank you, Michelle. That was great. Great overview there. A couple of questions. Starting with when you're setting these tasks, if you add a document to conversations, for example, does that get added to the document tabs as well?
It does not, and that's a really good question. A lot of people are asking that question, and it's kind of by design. So the documents, and depends on your process, but the documents in the document repository typically are your final documents or maybe even templates to have your PMs use. But the documents here are intended to be more working level documents. So you can post, a draft of something and have someone look at it, and then they can change and maybe post another one, or maybe just, something that's interesting to take a look at and refer to, because you can do links too. So as part of a conversation, you can do an HTML link and a document. But my team actually uses it for sharing notes and things that you may not want to keep in your project repository.
Yeah. If you have this connected to Microsoft projects, so if you're creating or if you make a change to a task, how does that affect Microsoft project schedules? The task,
sure.
Right, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. No, it's the same as it would be, if we went over here and sent it out to Microsoft Project. This is just, your standard way of viewing a project with phases and tasks. So nothing's changed in terms of our bidirectional integration. If we make a change here and send it out to Microsoft Project, it's updated there and vice versa. So as long as you have those two systems in sync, regardless of where you update the task, whether it's the board or this list view, it'll write to our Microsoft Project.
Great. Two questions about configurability. Can configure task filters? Can we configure link status?
Say that, oh, you mean the status? Are we talking about the status? I think it broke up just a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. I wonder if you can configure the living status report.
Yeah, this one is configurable to a point. So I think, we have, most folks on the call know that we have, a very robust reporting solution in JasperSoft, and then allowing for, other data visualization tools to access our warehouse. This one is configurable in that you can include or not include these specific sections. So if you weren't doing financials, you can get rid of the cost metrics, for example. But as far as configuration here, that's kind of it. It's either on or off either of these sections. And then, you can actually edit right in here. So as you're editing, you can write in here. So you can, talk about what's going on for your key accomplishments here. So that's kind of neat. But as far as configuration, it's really just here for this particular report.
Gotcha. Excellent. And task filters, can you configure those?
Not right now. They're always looking at adding new filters, but right now, when it comes to the tasks themselves, so we're looking at, here, this is what's available today. I believe they'll be adding more like my tasks and things like that. I know people are interested in that, things that are related to me, but that will always be, some of our usability improvements that we'll continue to do. So I would encourage everyone on this call to please, collaborate in communities, share your ideas with product management during our scheduled calls, and we always want that feedback.
That is very true. Yes, indeed. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. It was a great review. We will now hand over to our services team who have great news about new offerings that they are rolling out to us. Take it away, guys. Did we lose our services team? We might have. Marlana or Cherry?
Hi.
Or...
Hi, yes, Steve will be speaking in just a second.
We'll let everybody adjust, and we'll get the slides up in a minute.
Steve, you might have your line on mute. Pound 6 will unmute your line.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can.
Excellent. Okay, so hello everybody. My name's Steve Judge with CA Education. I've been with CA Education now for just a little over 6 years, and I've been helping our PPM customers in both EMEA and more recently here in North America with all things training and enablement to help drive effective adoption of their PPM solution. So I'd like to give you just a quick overview of a new education offering that we released recently, the CA Learning Subscription, and one of our efforts to continue to drive successful enablement and adoption of CA PPM. So software like CA PPM is a core component of every organization's ability to deliver superior customer experiences and create competitive advantage. And continuous learning is more important than ever for software users to have those necessary skills to fully adopt and leverage the latest technologies. So with the CA Learning Subscription, we're aiming to provide access to an extensive library of videos, e-learning courses, dynamic labs, and more, so users can learn what they need to know and when and where they need it. So with new and updated content added regularly, users always have access to the latest courses and training materials to be successful with CA PPM. So the subscription is available in 2 editions, Get Started and Learn More. So users can select the right fit for their particular needs. The Get Started edition features unlimited access to video tutorials and self-paced courses with rich, engaging content based on real-world use cases. And the Learn More edition provides all of the features in the Get Started edition, plus dynamic labs for hands-on experience and exclusive access to expert-led sessions to help accelerate adoption of PPM. The videos focus on how-to type topics and provide tips and tricks and best practices. The e-learning courses allow users to stop and start at their convenience. They can learn, apply, and refresh knowledge to improve on-the-job performance. The dynamic labs provide real hands-on experience in an interactive PPM lab environment with associated student and lab guides to help steer them through the learning experience. And the expert sessions provide exclusive access to training on key topics. Sessions are held periodically and are typically in about an hour in length. And the live sessions are recorded and then made available to active subscribers to the subscription. So I just wanted to show you a quick overview of the new offering. So this is the kind of portal. This is the landing page, if you like, the user interface. So when you log on for the first time, this is where you'll land. So you can see here the products included in the subscription are organized by tiles. So for PPM subscribers, you click through on the PPM tile. This then takes you through to what we call our learning paths. So it's easy for users to identify which content is available for their particular role. So for example, if I'm a project manager and I want to learn how to use project management in the user experience, then I simply click on the link, and that takes me directly through to the content in the CA learning portal. And then from here, you would simply, either register for the course, start the course, etc. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's not rocket science. We've tried to make it as simple and user-friendly as possible. As you can see, the learning paths are all nicely organized by role, so people can quickly find the content they're looking for.
Great.
Back on the.
I think we'll need to. Quick question for you. We'll jump on here. Oh, sorry. Keep going. Sorry, my bad. Keep going.
That's okay. I was just going to say that there's links to on the user experience page as well through to things like certification. So for those users that are interested in taking comprehensive training to get certified as either a professional or as a business analyst, there are links through to those pages on ca.com, which would then help them identify, which courses they need to take. For example, if they want to become certified as a business analyst, which courses are there do I need to take? There's a self-study guide and links through to the exam registration. So it's a nice consolidated user experience to provide all of the content they need to really get enabled with PPM. And then so I mean, this is a new solution offering in our portfolio. So we continue to offer key product training at every level in various formats to fit every experience and budget. So, users typically start with self-directed learning, which now can be purchased via the subscription or, as before, as individual courses to get that solid base of knowledge. And then to gain advanced knowledge, we have the traditional instructor-led courses, which are delivered in person or remotely with virtual classes. And then finally, we offer our customized education solutions, which are specific to each organization's requirements via our expert education consulting services. So there you go. If you want more information on the subscription, you can find out at ca.com/subscription.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for that. Well, that's it for today, people. Hope to see you all next month, where we will continue our webcast showing you all the good stuff in CA PPM. So, take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.